Weekend as the city roars. Tune in loud, turn up some more. Cincinnati show, it's time to play. Sports with strawberry ice today. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry icy's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Feel the crowd, it's electric now. Shouting loud, they all know how. The CTV got what we crave. Sports with ice, it's waves and waves. Tigers strike and Bengals roar. Every game we want some more. Tune in and feel the thrill. Strawberry ice, he's giving chills. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ice, he's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, Iceman Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. And as always, unless I'm on a remote, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave. And the Ice Cave is brought to you by Priority Lawn and Landscaping. The grass is growing. Maybe you don't want to cut it. Maybe you have a flower bed that needs some maintenance, some shrubbery put in, some flowers, some mulch. Maybe you got a retaining wall you want to do, paver patio, anything like that remotely covering and landscaping. Think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Give them a call at 513-430-6114. That's 513-430-6114. You can also follow them on Facebook. And when you do, tell them I sent you. What is up to everybody in the chat? We got Brad in there, Strangers in there, Paul Painter's in there, Tony Blazin, and Jerome is in there. What's going on, guys? All right, we're waiting for Mike Petraglia to join, but let's get to the news of the day. The Reds, yeah, they lost yesterday, but they did win a series. So that was the first series of the year they won, so that's a good thing. They're off tonight. I'm pretty sure Andrew Abbott is starting tomorrow. And we had the exodus of the Bearcats. Let's see here. Was it Brad? Yeah. Brad said it looks like only 5 Bearcats left from last year's basketball team. Yeah. It's not surprising because the way things went with the team the last 2 years. I know Wes has got an All-American or McDonald's All-American coming in next year. He's got, in my opinion, he has got to get some big guys. We have to have some interior play. That is the biggest downfall of this team. These shooters that he, quote unquote, shooters that he recruits are not lights out shooters. I mean, yeah, they can hit them every once in a while, but not consistently enough to play the way Wes has set up this offense. And in the Big 12, you need some big guys. You need to not get out rebounded. You need some interior play. You need some movement toward the basket. You need some high-low screens, you know. He needs big guys badly. I hope he recruits some, because if he doesn't, it's going to be more of the same stuff. And if that doesn't happen, then I think next year be Wes's last year. It's too big of a buyout for him, for them to get rid of him this year. So I think, like I said, if he doesn't improve, like, we have to make the tournament next year, in my opinion. This will be his 5th year next year. You got to make the tournament. He should have made it this year. You got Satterfield, who you all know I don't hate either one of these. I actually really like Wes. I thought Wes was going to be a better coach than he is. Satterfield, I was never totally sold on. I was willing to give him a chance. but the last 2 years haven't been the greatest. Like last year, we started off great, you know. We started I won't say great, started really good. And then we needed to win one game in like last 6 or last 5. I don't remember off the top of my head, but we didn't win any of them to be bowl eligible. Next year, Satterfield needs to be bowl eligible. We need to go to save their jobs. Wes has got to go to the tournament, and Sat's got to go to a bowl game. It has to happen, or we need to get rid of both of them, my opinion. The Bengals, we got the draft coming up. Pick number 17, and is Trey Hendrickson. Are they going to sign him? I still think they're going to. We'll see what happens. The Bengals did sign a linebacker, Joe Gillis Harris. People are like, who's that? It's just a depth piece, a special teams guy. Not anybody who would be a starter. Hopefully he is a good piece for the Bengals. And I don't know if you guys are golf fans or not, but the Masters starts today, and I love watching the Masters. I watched a little bit of it today after I got off work before I took my nap. Scheffler played awesome. I like Shambo out there. I don't know. Just ask everybody in the chat if you guys are golf fans. Who do you got winning the Masters here? This year, Scheffler would be back-to-back champs. Hey, Cameron, what's up, buddy? Yes, Lindsay, Jizzle James is staying, which is good. Jizzle, in my opinion, what Jizzle needs to improve upon is getting his teammates involved in the offense. He's good at creating his own shots, but he's not great at creating shots for everybody else. But the man has made it. I see him. He is in the waiting room. He is one of my favorite guys to talk to because he always comes on when I ask him when he has time. Yeah, hell, he even came on one time from a hotel room because he's in Baltimore, and he ran into his hotel room and turned his computer on and jumped on my show. So Mike Petraglia is one of the best guys. Let's get to Trags. What's going on, Trags?
How you doing? How you doing, Iceman?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Enjoying the weather not raining.
Right.
That would be nice. I have a birthday party here at my house Saturday night, and my backyard
yours?
is stoked. Yeah, I'll
happy.
It'll be my 50th.
Happy. Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah, well, it's not. I'm not actually turning 50 that day. That's when we're doing the party. But yeah, my backyard is a freaking swamp right now. So I needed to dry out. So I need a couple of days of no
not
rain.
As bad as the Ohio River.
No,
I hope.
No, not as bad as the Ohio
or
River.
Paycor.
No. Yeah, it's bad enough. Have you guys been able to get down to Paycor?
I've been able to get downtown, but I haven't been able to get around Paycor. Okay. I guess I'll be able to find out. Well, in a week or two when we talk to Duke Tobin and Zach Taylor.
Yeah. So I was talking a little bit here. Start off talking about Bearcats and the basketball team in the I call it the mass exodus. There's 5 guys left from the team, which I mean, honestly, like I said, it's not surprising because the last 2 years really haven't gone very well. And I said it this way: if West doesn't get some big guys, it's going to be more of the same thing because he makes it. This team was so easy to guard. All you had to do is guard the 3-point line and the outside shooting. There was nothing inside, nothing driving to the basket. And if you're playing big boy, Big 12 basketball, you got to have a big guy. And we don't shoot good enough to just be a perimeter team. But West, he said these guys are 3-point shooters and outside shooters. What they are, but they're nowhere close to being consistent enough. If you watch, Florida and how that team is, they got inside, they got outside, and they play defense, which the Bearcats don't play defense anymore. There's a lot to try to fix here this year in 1 year.
I will tell you this, Iceman, that given the fact that there are 2,000 players in the NIL portal, there's going to be a lot to choose from. And I think Wes is not panicking about building the roster. I think he believes that there will be 3 or 4 players of those 2,000 that he believes can come in to UC and make an impact right away. And that's just the way of the world right now in the NCAA. Programs can make a big turnaround. My concern with UC is, can Wes Miller come up with a message that will get through to these players on a consistent basis?
Right.
And, I say what you will about Dan Skillings Jr., it appeared to me on the outside and just watching him play games that there was a disconnect about midway through the year, and he lost him.
Yeah.
And maybe that's harsh, or maybe that's close to spot on. I think it's pretty close to spot on.
I agree with you.
In terms of what Dan Skilling Jr. was last year, when he was regarded probably as their best all-around player, to this year, where he fell off the face of the earth midway through the year. They can't afford that. If you're UC and you're playing in the Big 12, you cannot afford to have your best player or one of your very best players have a fall off and diminishing results the way Dan Skillings Jr. did. Certainly, there were other bright spots. I think their guard play was, when it was good, the Bearcats did very, very well. And I don't think Day Thomas and Jizzle James, when they're on their game, I don't think it's any surprise that the Bearcats are going to have a great deal of success. Obviously, Dylan Mitchell, to me, came on late in the season, and I thought he started to really, exert himself as a player of will and force, and that helped the Bearcats. When the Bearcats were 2-8 in the Big 12, I thought that's when they decided to turn it on and kind of take the chains off, if you will, of their restrictive type of play. And Wes said, screw it, let's just get tempo. Let's get them playing more up tempo. It wasn't the dodgeball. It was the Bearcats playing more up tempo. And I think they've got to find a way to play more like that next year, because, what Richard Pitino pointed out in his opening press conference to us, Iceman, is that these kids don't want to necessarily come to a program and play, 5 or 6 set plays in a motion offense.
Right.
They want to get out and run. They want to play enjoyable basketball. Part of that is being conditioned enough to be able to do that. But I think those are the kind of players Wes Miller is going to have to shoot for in terms of rebuilding the program. And we'll see what happens in the portal as it opens, or it is open now.
Yeah. Now they do have the McDonald's All-American coming in, so that's which I can't remember his name right now. That's good. Now, the one thing about the guard play that I was kind of talking about before you came on here is I think Jizzle and Day are good at getting their own shots. I would like to see them getting better at creating shots for other players. It was
that may not be part of their game, though.
It might not be, and that's to me, that's they're you got to have somebody that can do that, and they're too much alike in that aspect, because especially toward the end, it seems like there's too many guys just trying to create their own shot instead of. I mean, I'm always about team basketball and pass all that. I mean, if you ever want to see really good team basketball, go watch highlights of the 1986 Boston Celtics. They were freaking unbelievable. I'm not saying they should do that, but I mean, I'm just saying ball movement. And stuff like that. That's what I would like to see the Bearcats do. It was too much. The ball stopped too many times with players, especially like we never got anybody down low. Like Dylan Mitchell would start up, by the square and back down, and then maybe throw up a crazy shot. But that's not how you do post play. You got to get down there and establish yourself down low. And like I said, we didn't have anybody like that.
No, and I'll tell you another player who really fell off and it killed him. Simas Lukosius.
Oh, God, yes.
When he started the year, I'm like, he's going to have a record-setting three-point shooting season, and it's going to give the Bearcats the ability to space the ball out on the perimeter. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he was hiding an injury, Jeff, or what it was. But his play, as soon as Big 12 play came along, again, right off the cliff.
Yep.
And you can't have that.
No, what was funny last year, and I kind of said this, it's a bad joke, but I kind of said the joke this year. I said maybe he needs to go get hit by a car, because last year after he got hit by the car, he took off and started playing great. But I mean, he couldn't get open. He couldn't get a shot off. And then when he was open, he wasn't making them at nearly the same clip he did last year. That was a big thing for me. I'm like, what the heck happened to him? And then we got to go see Vic over there with Clemson playing good. Like, that's another guy that he lost Skillings this year. He lost Vic halfway through the last year too. So when you're losing players in the middle of the season, that's not good.
I know, and it immediately points the finger at Wes
Yeah.
and the coaching staff. Like, okay, why are they having such diminishing returns later in the year and in the most critical part of the year, your conference schedule? Why is that happening?
Because they're not getting better as the season goes along. They're
Correct.
getting worse. They're regressing instead
I mean,
of
yes, the competition is obviously
but
tougher.
you knew that.
I understand that, but they should not be having that kind of issue.
Yeah, the thing is, it's not like you didn't know you're going to one of the toughest conference in America. I mean, you knew that was going to happen. You signed up for that. So you got to be able to get around that somehow. And I just, like I said, I was very, very disappointed with this year's team. Because I thought beginning of the season, the way it started, and I keep going back to this, that our flag should have went up when we lost to Villanova. We lost that game at the beginning of the year. That should have been, but that game we shouldn't have lost. And that precluded to what happened, I think.
Yeah, I actually think Villanova, as we found out, was very talented and very poorly coached. Villanova is a team that should have won 22-23 games. And, yeah, I went there and I followed their games particularly closely, and I like Kevin Willard. But that was a talented Villanova team, and I could understand losing that game on the road to a Big East school with talent like Villanova. I mean, Eric Dixon wound up leading the team's country in scoring.
But that was also a time where we were red hot. We were like 15th in the country. We were rolling people. I mean, it should, and we didn't. That was the one that wasn't even close, really. I mean, we were never really in that game. That, to me, that was the red flag going, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, and I agree with that. But again, to me, the bigger red flags were the individual player performances dropping off the way they did once Big 12 play started.
It happened last year, too. That's the same thing that happened last year. Except for last year, it seemed like the fight was there a little bit more because we had so many one or two.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's very fair to say. And
this year, it's just like.
What did you think of the Crown, by the way?
It wasn't. I mean, I could see it developing into something, especially with the money in NIL. It wasn't bad. I mean, I didn't.
No, it was programming, and Fox loved it because it was programming during March Madness. Yeah. And certainly, if you can come up, if you're a TV executive and you can come up with a way to get more eyeballs on your network, I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
It's pretty cool to do it in a week, and they're done. Week and a half, something like that. It's not a long tournament.
And the kids get something out of it. The programs get something out of it. It's not a bad thing at all. It's just, I think, Jeff, they've got to fix the NCAA calendar.
Yeah.
In terms of the portal. I agree. And coaches coming and going. The portal opening literally in the middle of the NCAA tournament. You got to fix that.
That can't happen. Well, it's just like when we played Central Florida, which we should have. That's another. We should have beat them.
Yeah, you should have. But I mean,
down two guys. Yeah, and the one I can't remember the white kid who just killed us from the 3-point line. He's actually in the portal, so he's not going to play for Central Florida next year. And they let him play in that game, which it's a good thing they did for them because he killed us. And I can't remember his name, but that's another. We should have won that game. But anyway, Brad has got a question here for you, Trags. Trags, if UC ends up firing both coaches, do they replace Cunningham also?
Well, that's a great question. We're not going to find out the answer until next year. So, yes, I think there's a distinct possibility that if you fire both coaches and both coaches have mediocre to dismal years next year, I think Scott Satterfield is going to be okay next year. I
hope.
I think they're going to be competitive. What we've seen from the Scott Satterfield teams, first year, they started off 2-0. They should have been 3-0. Everybody remembers the overtime loss to Miami of Ohio at Okay. Last year, they were a blown 28-7, I think it was, lead to Pitt. 24-7 lead against Pitt. Mm-hmm. A Pitt team, by the way, that started off 7-0, and of course they flamed out towards the end of the season. But the Bearcats were very legitimately on the precipice of going 5-0. Yeah. They would have, or 6-0, and they would have been a top 25 football team.
They were close. I mean, they were talking about fighting for the Big 12 championship too.
I think there's a possibility that the Bearcats are going to continue to improve under Satterfield, and it's all about how much talent you have. And, that's, again, another sport where I think the coaching, at least the head coaching, is a bit overrated. It's more about the coaches you surround yourself with and whether or not your players have bought into a structured program and understand the philosophy offensively, obviously, and can tackle in space and pursue the football. I mean, that's, whether it's college or in the NFL like the Bengals, you've got to have defenses at this stage that are going to give up completions, but not huge completions. Right. And that's going to be the key for the Bearcats defense going forward.
Yeah, the disappointing thing for me was we needed one more win in the last, I can't remember, 5 games.
Yeah, to be bowl eligible, and they couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it. And they were in a couple of them. I'm going, just need just one. If they would have been bowl eligible, I would feel a lot better about Sat. But just, again, that collapse, it's a collapse. I don't care.
Oh, no question.
I mean, you can't just need one win. You can't manage to get one. I mean, that part right there doesn't bode well. But a lot of the main guys are still sticking around. So,
well, first of all, you got the quarterback in Brendan Sorsby, Brady Lichtenberg. I think they're going to be okay in that regard. And as long as you've got the quarterbacks, I think they're going to find the receiving core in spring practice right now, which is going on. The spring game is this Saturday at Nippert. I think it'll be a good chance for Bearcat fans to see exactly what they have. And I'll tell you, Dan Horde, the great voice of the Bearcats, pointed this out. Joe Royer had a chance to go become draft eligible and head to the NFL last year, and he decided to come back and play another year at UC. That is going to help the Bearcats tremendously on offense. Obviously, they lose Kiner. That's a big loss in the backfield. So we'll see how they can replace their running back tandem. Evan Pryor, what's he going to be like next year? What kind of role is he going to play? So I'm curious to see how the Bearcats go forward in terms of replacing some of their weapons that have left.
Yeah, I feel a little better about the football team than I do the basketball team at this point. But we'll see what West does in the portal. But the Reds actually won a series. They lost yesterday.
That was a brutal loss, by the way.
Dude, it's like, the funny thing is, like, me and the guys at work were talking, like, look, like they'll get the hit. One of these games they're going to get the hitting, and the pitching will stink. The starting pitcher yesterday,
Nick Martinez.
That's back-to-back starts that he has not looked very good. You got a lot of young guys down there. If he doesn't turn it around here soon, I could see him going back to the bullpen and bringing up.
That's a possibility, and that's, Jeff, I think that's a very interesting possibility considering the fact that you have Andrew Abbott returning on Saturday.
Yep.
You have Rhett Lauder waiting in the wings, and you have Wade Miley waiting in the wings.
Yep. You have plenty of
and you have Carson Spires, who just got optioned because he has options. Mm-hmm. That's why they did that with Carson Spires. I just rattled off 4 names. Mm-hmm. The Reds never had that kind of depth in the last 3 years.
No.
Say what you will about the way Nick Kroll has built the roster over the last couple of years. I think the way he has gone about things this year bodes very well for the Reds. The Reds aren't going to continue to hit at a 220 pace. That's not going to happen. No. You get Austin Hayes back, you get Tyler Stevenson back. Yeah. I mean, those are your 4 or 5 hitters in the lineup pretty much every day. Mm-hmm. And, the Reds have looked like they've been without 2 of their best hitters. The Matt McLean thing bothers me a little bit. That it would concern me a little bit. It's a soft tissue injury. He's on the IL. You don't want to rush him back. It's mid-April. Cool to cold weather, as we've obviously all experienced. Don't rush him back. But at some point, Matt McLean is going to have to show he can play 140 games a year or 135 games a year. He has to. If he is the player that wants, let's say, a $250 million contract, is one of the best leadoff hitters in baseball. If he wants a Alex Bregman kind of deal that Bregman got from the Red Sox, which is incentive laden, I get that, but still, it's a massive contract. It's $40 million a year.
I'd take it.
If he wants that kind of deal, Matt McClain is going to have to demonstrate that he can play every day. Ellie De La Cruz, the most dynamic player in baseball, most electric player in baseball, but he's hitting 256. Now, that's not terrible.
But it ain't great. But
it ain't great.
Yeah.
And he needs to elevate his game to be a 285, 290 hitter at the very least. I mean, people have tossed around the idea of Ellie being the first billion-dollar player in baseball. Until he shows that he can be a true 5-tool player, hit with power consistently. We know he can run like the wind. We know he has unmatched range defensively at the shortstop position. He made that play up the middle yesterday in San Francisco. It was a freakish play.
Yeah, the one that sliding catch out of bounds last week was
at Great American Ballpark. Yeah. Yes, that was against San Francisco. That was an amazing play. He will make I heard it on FanDuel, and I think it was Jeff Brantley who said he is the player you expect to make the most dynamic, sensational play most often.
Yeah,
he's the guy I would have my money on, and nobody's disputing that. But between Ellie and Matt McClain, they've got to be better at the top of the. To me, there's no if the Reds are going to go where I think a lot of optimistic Reds fans had them going this year, those two, Matt McClain has to play, and Ellie De La Cruz has to be a little more consistent.
Yeah, and to me, those are the two keys. I am a little concerned, like you said, with Matty Bats getting injured again. Now, it's nothing big, but I agree with you. You got to play every day. Those two, especially right now with the guys that are out, are a lot of pressure on them to hit. And with them not hitting, right now, if the first four batters in the Reds lineup don't hit, we're not going to hit you most likely. And CES is another one that's got to start turning it around too. I like him. I like his bat a lot. But Ellie makes some of the best plays ever. But then he can just take a routine ground ball and throw it into the dugout. I'm like,
Well, that's again a great point.
Yeah,
Jeff, is that Ellie needs to make routine plays more often. Now, I could see, I'm a little distracted here by Trey Hendrickson. I saw.
What about Trey Henderson? Did they sign him?
No, just the rumors right now, and
what is that?
What one is going to the Bears, and obviously there's rumors out there about where Trey Hendrickson might wind up during draft week in a couple of weeks. I know I'm shifting gears.
Oh, you're good. Go.
Trey Hendrickson, that dilemma. It's hard for me to kill the Bengals on this, for this reason. They signed him to the contract, and Trey Hendrickson went back and said, "I want more money."
All right.
Well,
you signed it.
And the Bengals don't want to overpay you into years that put you at 31, 32 years of age.
Right.
That being said, if the Bengals want to make a real run at the Super Bowl, it would behoove them to get Trey Hendrickson under a workable contract. I'm talking 27 to 29, $30 million a year.
Right.
Work out the bonus money, which would have the greatest impact on any cap implications. Work out the bonus money and move forward. The reason you can blame the Bengals here is they let stories like this hang over the franchise and hang over and drag on. Mm-hmm. And if you want Trey Hendrickson extended, then extend him. If you're not going to extend him, make the best possible deal you can, trade him, get the best trade possible, and move on. It seems like to me, and maybe the Bengals would answer that by saying, well, we're not going to get our best deal until the NFL draft. Well, that could be the case. But you best get two, at the very least, a first and a third, and a starting caliber player back in return for Trey Hendrickson. Otherwise, you don't make the trade.
Right.
So it's a tough one to call, and maybe there's a team out there that's willing to step forward. The Patriots were rumored. The 49ers were rumored. The Bears have been rumored. The Commanders have been rumored. There are a lot of teams that would love to add Trey Hendrickson as an edge pass rusher. The problem the Bengals have is if you trade him, what are you going to do at edge? I mean, right. You could draft two of them,
but they're not Trey Hendrickson.
And you can hope, and this is their strategy in the offseason, hope that Myles Murphy develops into a terrific, if not all-pro edge. Hope that Joseph Osai, A, stays healthy, B, continues to have the growth that he showed at the end of last year. Joseph Osai is still young.
Oh, yeah. Same with Myles Murphy.
Myles Murphy is young. There's Cam Sample. There's Cedric Johnson that they drafted last year from Ole Miss. And they just put all of these players in a stew, stir it together, and hope that after, I don't know, another 3 or 4 months of cooking, they turn into like really good, productive NFL edge rushers. I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, like, let's just, I would not trade Trey unless you're getting a first-round pick. I don't know if teams are going to give him one for him, because I think that's what the Bengals have wanted. But when you get into the draft and the longer you wait, the more teams get desperate. So I think you do have a better chance of getting that.
By the way, I want to jump in here.
Go ahead.
I see Matt Jenkins with the comment in our stream. Mm-hmm. Is a team trading a first for Trey Hendrickson? I don't see it. Mm-hmm. Well, if they don't get a first rounder in return for Trey, don't trade him.
Right. I think that's to me. I think that's the reason why they haven't traded. That's what they want for him. They want a first, second, or first and second, or first and third for him.
And if you're the Bengals, that's fine. If you keep him, you keep him. You're in a position of strength if you're the Bengals, and the Bengals understand that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like Trey has no leverage. I mean, he can bitch and moan and cry all he wants, and I love Trey, and I want them to sign him. The person he should be mad at is his agent for signing the contract in the first place 2 years ago. Well, that's what started the whole thing.
I mean, the Bengals should be commended. First of all, you could call the Trey Hendrickson free agent signing back in 2021 the best free agent signing they've ever had.
Yeah.
I mean, there are other arguments to be made in that category, but
not many.
And I think he's certainly on the short list.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like you said, is he is 30, and I don't see them extending him beyond 2, at the most 3 years. So that would make it a 4-year contract. That would be hard for me to see them give them extra 3 years on top. I think it's going to be 2 years to make it a total of 3 years of the contract, because beyond that, he's just getting older. But Trey has shown no signs of slowing down. But that's where I think that the problem with the Bengals is he wants more money, and he probably wants a longer contract. I don't think the Bengals want to give him the longer contract because of the age.
I agree with that. I don't think they want to approach year 33 with Trey Hendrickson. Yes. I think they're willing to go to 32 years of age and call it a day. And I think that was kind of intimated by what Katie Blackburn talked about down in Palm Beach last week at the owners' meetings, where she said that he's been made an offer, and Trey has to decide what makes him happy. And I think he could be happy. I'm paraphrasing him.
Yeah.
But he could be happy with the offer that we made him. And Trey's like, well, you didn't communicate that to us. and here's the problem again that the Bengals have.
Communication.
It's the optics.
Mm-hmm.
Their optics are not good. Their position is very solid. Mm-hmm. And I think for the most part, they do want to take care of their best players. And I think with Jamar and T, they did that. Yes, they protected themselves against T. Higgins' injury going forward, but that's only smart football business to do that. Most
teams would have done that.
Nobody is criticizing or critiquing the Bengals for protecting themselves with T. Higgins' injury history. No one.
Right.
But with Trey Hendrickson and with T. Higgins, the biggest complaints that they have is the team doesn't communicate at all. There's not a dialogue. There's an offer that's made and then nothing. You get radio silence. Well, Trey Hendrickson is thinking, well, it's not even really a formal offer that's been made. I hear about these numbers, but they haven't contacted my agent or had serious dialogue or discussions with my representation. And that infuriates the player.
Yeah, that happens over and over and over again, because that's exactly what Trey said on the Pat McAfee show, where, I'll hear something one day, then I won't hear anything for a while. And which, to me, that I don't understand that. Like, if the Bengals want to get this contract done, why don't they call the agent in? We're going to bang this out. We're going to figure this out over a weekend or however long it takes. I have never negotiated a contract that big, so I don't know. But I would think if you want to sign the guy, you want to hurry up and get it done. And that's where I think Trey's frustration is with it too.
Again, when an issue like this hangs over the team, like this one does, it gives the appearance, and it may not be totally based in fact, but it certainly gives the appearance that it's distracting from other priorities that should be focused on, namely getting signing one or two offensive linemen, guards. One would be if they signed a legitimate starting right guard to take the place of Alex Kappa. I could see them having a battle for the left guard position. I wouldn't have a big problem with that. And certainly you have a lot of bodies in there that can,
at least sign one of them.
That can. I agree. The Bengals should sign at least one.
Reisner or Scherf, one of those two.
One guard. I mean, they did obviously sign, and I got
the guy from the New Orleans. Yeah, I never can remember his name either. That's how good of a signing it was. I always forget his name. And then you still got Kirkland, who you said that on the last time you were on here that the Bengals.
Yes,
I'm high on him too.
I think the Bengals are high on Jackson Kirkland, and that's something again nobody's talking about because he's not a sexy name. Like, they didn't go out and make a free agent signing. Well, I think part of the reason for that, first of all, they don't want to spend the money if they don't absolutely have to. Right. But if they feel that they have a guy that's going to come in and push Cordell, and either the worst case scenario is Cordell Volson, who was benched towards the end of last year, comes back, is reinvigorated in the offseason, but particularly in training camp. If he shows flashes that, okay, I've grown up, I'm going to be nastier, I'm going to be more consistent in my pass blocking protections, then okay. If Jackson Kirkland wins the position, okay, we'll see how we roll with that. But Lucas Patrick was your big signing to replace Alex Kappa. Now, one name again we didn't mention, Cody Ford. Ford is their most versatile offensive lineman.
That's why I want him on the bench. I want his depth. I would like that.
So, but if he's one of your best five, if he's one of your best three interior linemen, you want him on the field. You want him starting.
True. Right.
And that's why you went out. Point.
I don't want him that way. I want to add somebody here. That's what I want to do. But,
and they think Lucas Patrick is that guy that can provide depth there. And then we haven't even talked about what they're going to do in the draft. They're going to draft at least one offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman, maybe two. We'll see how that turns out and go from there. I don't hate the Bengals roster right now. I actually think the Bengals roster is in a pretty good position, but here's what it's completely built upon. This theory and this rationale, Jeff, is that their young players are going to take the step forward to compete, and that's how they're going to be better next year on defense.
They have to because of the money that they have. And to me, that puts a lot of pressure on Al Golden and the new offensive line coach.
You know what? BS. I mean, that's what he took the job for, is to,
but if you don't have
come
talent,
in and make the defense better. That's why when I hear people say, well, you expect Al Golden to put, yes, I do. That's what he's getting paid to do, is work with younger players. And yes, I think this defense can be better next year. The number one problem with the Bengals defense in 2023 and 2024 was their missed tackles. They were horrifically bad in that category. And what do missed tackles come from? Missed assignments, being out of position. The first couple of years, especially Al Golden's last year with the Bengals, 2021, they were great in ball pursuit. Logan Wilson was all over the field. Part of the reason the Bengals brought Al Golden back is he knows how the linebackers should be playing. And Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt over the last couple of years have had a drop-off, a big drop-off. And that's been, everybody's talked about the defensive line, the inability to get pressure on the quarterback, absolutely a legitimate criticism. But if your linebackers aren't getting downhill or aren't tackling in space, you're screwed. You know what the number one play that sticks out to me of the 2024 Bengals season?
Which one?
In Baltimore, in their comeback, that lame push that Logan Wilson whiffed on the sideline, and allowed the running back to go all the way down the field for the touchdown on the swing pass. That can't happen.
No.
And if one play embodies what the Bengals were about defensively last year for the first 13 weeks, that was it. And yes, giving up whatever it was, 44 points to Russell Wilson and the Steelers and 400 passing yards to Russell Wilson, that was bad. But that one play in Baltimore when the Bengals were up 21-7, and you're like, wow, this Bengals team is starting to turn it on against a great Baltimore team on the road in prime time Thursday night on a short week. You're like, oh, okay, this is what Bengal fans were anticipating more. And then they just crap themselves in that game. They can't. Where's the tackling, people?
That was like, what the hell happened? Because that's the thing. When we went to the Super Bowl, we were really good at not only tackling, but pursuing the football and gang tackling. That's why we had so many interceptions, because there's guys around the ball. So
go back and watch the AFC Championship game and in Kansas City, the one they won. Go back and watch the second half of the comeback against the Chiefs in the final penultimate game of that regular season when the Bengals were able to come back against Patrick Mahomes. There are so many examples in that season of the Bengals. They gave up a lot of points, but then they made adjustments, and then they clamped down. They locked it down with
and we didn't have that the last 2 years.
No, absolutely not.
Exactly. Let me get this $4.99 super chat here from Dusty Croft. Appreciate it. Not being a homer, but someone's the art of sales / negotiation is you give offers, prices, and keep your mouth shut. First person to speak loses. Yeah.
That is true, but you've got to make the offer, and there's got to be.
They got to make the offer. It's not like Trey doesn't know they made the offer.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's the implication. Certainly on the Pat McAfee show, that he wasn't aware that a formal offer had been made to his representation, and that's a problem.
Which is weird. I was like, and she's like, "Oh, we made an offer." He goes, "You did?" I didn't know that. Like, if you think you made an offer and he doesn't know you made an offer, right there, that's the communication issue.
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem right there. But getting back to the defense, and I want to get back to the linebackers here because the Bengals did sign Joe Gillis Harris, and people are like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "It's a depth piece." They had to add to that room. I'm getting more and more concerned about the linebacker room because Logan hasn't looked as good. Maybe he's lost a step. I don't know. I think getting Al Golden back is going to help. Pratt still says he wants to be traded. So I think if he's still here, they don't trade him at the draft, I think he's getting cut. That you have Logan Wilson and the guy we signed from the Eagles, but I don't really know if he's a starter. To me, you still got to address another linebacker there to get a starter at that spot. That room scares me, to be honest, with the guys that have in it right now.
Yeah, and that is, again, it's been a spot that has been not talked about a lot because there's been so much talk about the defensive line and so much talk about the corners and the safeties that because there's usually only two of them on the field at once, linebackers, because of the formation that the Bengals play. They play a base nickel essentially. That people aren't talking about the linebackers. You're right, they should be. Mm-hmm. And Oren Burks, that's the linebacker they signed from Philadelphia. Mema Njong Meta. I mean, he did come on. He got on the field last year. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he looked good. I mean, he might be. I don't know. We haven't seen enough of it to go, all right, you're gonna be a starter next year, and I'm okay with that. I didn't see. That's what drove me nuts about Lou last year, is he was in a position where to develop these guys, and he wouldn't put them on the field until.
Well, here's the thing. I don't understand why he didn't bench Jermaine Pratt at one point last year. Now, Pratt, Logan got hurt.
Sam Hubbard. I mean, good. Sorry.
But no, I mean, the linebacker room was an underplayed, undersold reason why the Bengals struggled so badly the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's got to improve. I mean, and I do think that Golden will improve, because I do like his background is developing players coming from the college ranks and how the linebacking core played for him. So I do think that he is going to be better at developing than Lou is, but he's still got to get talent there. So for me at 17, I'm hoping to God he's there, is Nolan. I really like to get him, but if he's not, Campbell, and Campbell would be a longer shot if he's there or not, because if he's there at 17, there's more people concerned about his shoulder. So then that gets me to, well, how bad is his shoulder? Do we actually want to draft him at 17? Because I keep going back to linebacker right now, to me, is a bigger need than the defensive line because of the room. Where are you at?
That's a good you could have a long argument, and I'm sure the Bengals have had this inside the building. What's a bigger priority, an edge rusher or linebacker? Mm-hmm. You absolutely can make the case that the linebacker room is worse than the edge rusher.
We'll at least have Murphy and Osai, and right now still Trey, so you still have those guys. You don't have enough bodies in that linebacker room.
You also you do have Cam Sample. You have Cedric Johnson. I'm not saying they're world beaters, but they are certainly NFL ready players.
Yeah.
And that's one thing the Bengals are going to have to work. They're going to wind up drafting one or two linebackers. They're going to wind up drafting one or two edge rushers. And then we'll see, probably draft an offensive guard. I was just on the big one on 700 WLW, and I said one of my bold, fearless predictions, is that the Bengals are going to wind up in this draft with more than 6 draft picks.
They're going to trade back, you think?
I think at some point they've got to, because we just went over their needs.
Yeah.
Most of them on defense, but they have got to somehow come up with a way to get more than 6 draft picks and not rely completely on rookie free agents to step forward. I mean, they might do that. I mean, certainly one or two rookie undrafted free agents always step forward, make the team, and if you're lucky, contribute. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, one thing for me, that's where I'm kind of hoping in this draft that the quarterbacks that drop, because if they drop, the more teams are like, say the Giants and the Browns don't take Shedeur Sanders or Dart, which I don't think Dart's going to be up that high. But just say they don't take Shedeur Sanders, and it's because the Raiders aren't going to draft him. If he gets past them, he could drop pretty far. And maybe the Giants, I doubt they'll trade with the Browns for a quarterback, but maybe the Giants want to come back up and in the second round or first round and get him. Then the Bengals are sitting there at 17. That's where I can see that scenario happening.
Yeah, sure.
Because and you never know, we could trade back in rounds 2 and 3 too, but 17 to me is a good spot to trade back, because there's going to be guys there that for our needs at 17 and at 21 are about the same. It's not that big of a fallback if you add another second round pick or something in there as well.
Right. I mean, it's about adding picks.
If
you're going to trade back within the first round, get another pick, and then you're up to 7 picks. I think the sweet spot would be about 8 picks for the Bengals.
That would be awesome. And hopefully they hit in I think I can't stand Trags. They're putting so much pressure on them to hit this draft right. And
I mean, they've put themselves in that position, but again, people can obviously paint a picture of the sky is falling. I don't think the sky is falling.
I don't think the sky's falling. I'm just irritated that they didn't do.
Well, of course.
Enough,
I mean, I understand why didn't they go out and address the offensive line situation. Right. I just went over why they didn't do that because they feel they think they know their talent better than the people on the outside.
Right. And which they should.
And Jackson Kirkland and Cordell Volson on the left side as interior linemen can get the job done. And then you have Cody Ford and Luke. Eventually I'm going to get the guys. Luke, stand by. Lucas Patrick. Yeah. They have Lucas Patrick and Cody Ford. Matt Lee is somebody who can also play interior line. Mm-hmm. And they're going to add one or two guys there. So let's just see how it plays out.
Man, we'll see that. They got guys that not prove guys. Trags, I'm gonna let you go because that sun looks like it is beating down on your eyes, giving you a hard time. So I appreciate it. By the way, it's pretty cool. You're on 700 WOW. Then you came to Strawberry Ice. I'm moving up in the world. Trags, plug some stuff before I let you go, brother.
All right, online you can read it right there on the screen. CLNS Cincy with a Y.com. On the X as always at Trags TRAGS. And YouTube, been very, very busy the last couple of weeks. Code Reds podcast, that's on youtube.com/Cincinnati Sports Studio. And of course, the Jungle Roar podcast for all you Bengal fans is youtube.com/@Jungle Roar Pod.
Trags is almost on YouTube as much as I am now. You're a hard working guy.
Not quite, but I try to work. Try to get content up. It's content world, Iceman.
Hey, tell me about it. I try to do it every day and try to figure out what the heck to talk about. So, Trags, as always, man, I appreciate you giving me the time. You always take time to come on the show, and I appreciate it, man.
All right, bud. Take care.
I do. See it.
See you, Jeff.
All right, guys. As always, hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I had to get Trags out of that. That sun looked like it was right in his eyes, just killing him there. So I wanted to let him get going. Like I said, Tony says the sky is definitely falling. I don't think the sky is falling. Like I said, they haven't done what we wanted them to do or think they should have done. And if they don't add to the guard room with Reisner or Scherf, then we better pray to God that they're right. That the guy, I forgot his name already, the guy we signed from New Orleans and Kirkland, because right now, to be honest, the way when I've been talking to different beat writers, I think those are the guys, the leaders in the pack for starting guards right now here on April. April 10th. I think that's right now. I'm not okay with it. I wish they would sign somebody else, but I hope they're right. They and like Trags says, they think they know their personnel better than we do. They should. They should know more than I do. I'm just a guy on a YouTube show in my basement here talking sports. They should know more than I do, and I hope they do. But the thing is, that you swing it back the other way to just the communication, the stuff that's driving us up, the communication with Trey. Well, you should know how to communicate with your players better than we do, and I feel like I would know how to do that better than the Bengals do because they don't talk to them. So that's it. That's where, as a Bengals fan, you just kind of pull your hair out going, what are you doing? I hope you're right on this aspect, but why are you slacking in trying to talk to Trey when you said you made an offer? He went Pat McAfee saying he didn't know it was a formal offer. How does that happen? I don't know. I mean, it's just, like I said, again, I'm going to stick with this. I still think the Bengals are going to sign him because, and Dustin Crawford's in the chat, always has been saying trade. Even if you trade Trey and you get a first round pick, you are not guaranteed to get Trey Henderson, the next Trey Henderson. You might, and this might be a good draft to do that in because there's a lot of defensive linemen and edge guys in this draft. But you already have an established guy. And that's one thing. How many times have we said over the last couple of years, we want the Bengals to keep their talent? Well, they are this year. They kept T. They kept Jamar. They kept Mike Gesicki. So they're keeping their talent. So that's where I'm like, I think they're going to keep Trey. So you got to give them credit for that. But you could also go, what are you doing with guard here? You let Alex Kappa go, and it seems like you didn't really have a plan. And maybe the plan was Cody Ford and Kirkland, and who knows? I mean, I don't know. All right, my boy Bengal Rick, Trey's not going anywhere. I agree with you. But it's just frustrating, and it's off season. And to be honest, we nitpick everything any NFL team does way more than we used to. I mean, I remember I was a kid, the Bengals offseason, there was no offseason. I mean, there was, but we never heard anything. You just had to wait till training camp started. You know, you might be hearing some stuff of negotiations, flipping burgers and stuff like that from, Corey Dillon. What you got, Dustin? I'm just trying to be different, man. Sometimes you got to take risks. And like I said, it would be a risk. I agree with you. If we had somebody on the other side that was more consistent, then I think there's a better possibility that the Bengals trade him. But we don't. I think it can be Joseph Osai. I think Miles Murphy can be more of an impact player this year, but we haven't seen it. And if we want to go win a Lombardi, like we all want to, you need guys who make impact. And that's the other thing. I want to get this. I want to say this to Trags, but I didn't get to. With the Bengals and the guard play, or the guard talent, with them having so many holes on defense, and they might think they've fixed it. Why don't you make damn sure that your offensive line is going to be solid in signing Reisner and Scherf, who I would love them to sign both of them. I don't think they're going to. I hope they sign one of them. Hell, they might not sign either one of them. But to me, that would be smart money. Go sign these guys. Your offensive line and your offense in general should be fine. It should be no holes in that offense. I mean, the thing I keep saying is, if you get better guard play, you can run the ball better. Because we've talked about running the ball. The Bengals need to run the ball more consistent. Guard play helps that. So that's where I'm like, all right, you're trying to fix the defense with the draft. Okay, well, go get the offense completely fixed, especially your offensive line. When you have Jackpot Joey, you want to keep him healthy. But we'll see. I wanted to ask Trags who his golfers were for the Masters, but I did not get around to that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Tomorrow, I'm pretty sure I got Harrison and I got Hood News on tomorrow night for a fun Football Friday show. But stick around. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, all that cool stuff. I'll be pulling the sound off later on tonight, put it on the podcast. It'll be on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitch Play. Pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. And thanks for watching. I've been live streaming on ZTV, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. You can follow me on all those along with Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. And if you are looking for a lawn and landscaping company, I highly recommend Priority Lawn and Landscaping for all your lawn and landscaping needs. Give them a call. Tell them I sent you. 513-430-6114. That's 513-430-6114. You can also follow them on Facebook. Also, shout out to T Properties. If you're looking for a rental property, a house, apartment, condo, you got a rental property you just don't want to manage anymore, check out T Properties website at tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And my Westside peeps, go check out Hail Mary. It's your ticket to the game right in the heart of Cheviot. Beer specials, big TV screen, free parking, food trucks. It's an awesome, awesome place. Again, that's Hail Mary's, your ticket to the game. And don't forget about Meyer Windows and Doors and more. I got them in my house. I highly recommend you get them in yours. The windows are awesome looking, energy efficient, easy to clean. And best of all, you get to meet Matty Myers and see the Jackpot Joey Mobile. Check them out for a free estimate at MyersCincinnati.com. Now, don't forget, we're getting closer and closer to the NFL draft. So we are having my first year I've done this, draft party at MLT's. What is MLT's? Mount Lookout Tavern. Where is it at? It's right in the middle of Mount Lookout Square. Very easy. Right across from Millions, where I would do my podcast during the football season. It is April 12th. We're having Bengals trivia, Gold Star Chili. We're giving away prizes for Bengals trivia, so get your teams ready. Bengals trivia starts at 6. The live podcast starts at 7. Tyson Anderson, Bengals safety, is going to be on there, along with Full Rock, David Fulcher, Joe Schmo, Neil Myers, and Harrison, the comedian, will all be joining us. So stick around. We hang out there all night. Like I said, the podcast goes from 7 to 8, and then we hang out and watch the draft, see what the hell the Bengals do at 17. And then next day, we can celebrate what the Bengals did or be upset all together at one place at the Fulling Warehouse for Project Game Day Draft Fundraiser. What is Project Game Day? They support individuals with disabilities and military veterans. They try to send them the Bengals game. So to get tickets, it's only $30. You get Fulling, you get Midwest Best Barbecue, you get Gold Star Chili. Cincy Hat's going to be there. Bengals collectible raffles. It's April 12th. Starts at 6 p.m. Goes till 11 p.m. Get your tickets. You can Venmo them at Project Game Day and projectgameday@gmail.com. Jordan Battle's going to be there. I'm hoping I get Tyson to show up. We'll see. But we got you covered for your draft day activities. It's going to be fun, tiring, and then probably on Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to probably be online with Dale. We'll be watching the draft with him. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Stay dry out there. The Reds can't lose today because they're not playing. Maybe go watch some wrestling or something tonight. Who knows? And remember, as always, Houday for life. And throw it up. That's just sports, baby. See ya!
Weekday nights, the city roars. Tune in loud, turn up some more. Cincinnati show, it's time to play. Sports with strawberry ice today. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ices on the mic, energy, it's pure delight. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Feel the crowd, it's electric now. Shouting loud, they all know how. The CTV got what we crave. Sports with ice, it's waves and waves. Tigers strike and Bengals roar. Every game we want some more. Tune it in and feel the thrill. Strawberry ice, he's giving chills. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ice, he's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight.